Bam, we're live. Annika, you look like you're 12.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
Let me see some ID. Holy cow.
They're getting younger on the show here. 16, 18.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me on.
Are you tripping or are you stable?
I mean, I'm as stable as I'm gonna be.
Like you worked your ass off for when did you find CrossFit?
When I was 13, just turned 13.
And you just turned 19?
No, I'm not 19 till June.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think it says in your profile you're 19.
Yeah, it's I have one of those weird birthdays where it's between, at least when I was a teenager, I missed I only got 3 years instead of 4 because my birthday's between the open and the games. So it's like your birthday as of that competition year. So technically, like as of 2022, I'm 19, but not till June.
Another error by CrossFit Inc. No, I'm just joking.
That's what I'm walking into here.
Brian
Keep walking into worse, Brian.
Brian friend, Anikha Greer. I just asked to see her ID. She is 18 years old. I was just saying that on the website it says that she's 19.
Which website?
On the CrossFit Games website, I think.
I think it usually reflects the age the athlete will be at the games if they make the games.
Gotcha. And I think she was just explaining that to me.
Okay.
Stealing my thunder.
Look how many books she's read.
Very well read.
Is that your house or are you in a bookstore?
My house basically is a bookstore, but I'm at my dad's office at the university because my Wi-Fi is terrible at home. So common theme here.
What state are you in?
I'm in Canada, so I'm in Prince Edward Island.
That's the country that's above us, right? I'm in the United States. You're up there.
Yeah, the Great White North.
Yeah. Why did you do your open in Vegas, or sorry, your quarterfinals in Vegas? Why did you come down from Canada?
Because I'm all alone here, truthfully. And I met a lot of the underdogs at Wodaplooza, and we really connected. And I mean, one of our goals for this season was to find somewhere for me to spend a longer period of time and train, just because Wodaplooza really showed how used to being alone I was and not having that push from other people. So it was just we knew we wanted to go to Vegas at some point. And with there being no West Coast semi, it was now is probably the best time. Let's go get you uncomfortable during quarters and throw down there. So yeah.
And so you just hit up Justin Kotler. He's the man in charge over at Underdogs. And you said, hey, can I come on down for quarterfinals? And he opened up his arms and you came down.
It was, so we had met at Wodaplooza, and Justin, we were instantly kind of big fans of each other. I have a pretty good vibe detector, and I really liked him, and so did my coach Brett. And anyways, it was Cooper who kind of set that up, because Cooper is my agent and Danielle's agent, and he's very close with the underdogs. So he kind of set that up. I mentioned it to Coop, and Cooper's like, boom, done.
I heard Danielle got rid of Cooper as her agent because he brought you down. Is that true?
Yeah, maybe.
I heard a rumor.
To get one thing clear, Danielle was the one who invited me to stay with her. I had prior arrangements, and she overrode that and was like, no, Anika's going to stay with me. So that was Danielle's call, not mine.
She wanted to put spike your drink or something. She wanted to give you a roofie or some X-Lax or something. Fuck up your game.
Keep a close eye.
So you come down there, and when you came down there, did you come down with anyone? You said no, by yourself.
Just myself. Brett, my coach, came for actual quarters, but I went down a full training week early to get kind of the feel of how it would feel if I wanted to be there longer term, and get some good training in, get used to the dry air. I still don't really have a voice.
Okay. Okay,
yeah,
so this isn't your voice.
No, I don't sound like a chain smoker, I promise. But yeah, I went down a bit early, got used to everything and stuff before it was time to compete.
Okay, so that's interesting because I was guessing that maybe that was from crying. Just
that
to
too.
Okay, well, just to vouch for you, every time I go to Las Vegas, within a few hours of being there, I get a bloody nose, and not like a bad one, but when I pick a booger, they're red. And so that is Vegas.
Yeah. And I have asthma too, so it was just like double whammy. I was wheezing for a bit, but I liked it. I like the heat.
Tell me your coach's name, Brett who?
Roberts. He
Roberts.
he coached my very first CrossFit teens class ever.
I'm trying to
He's
find him on.
amazing.
Do you know what his Instagram account is? I'm trying to find him.
He's private, but he's 782 Coach Brett.
Ah, okay. Okay. And he's been your coach since you've been 13, since when you started?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So the scene is that you're up in Canada, you're training. And have you ever gone to the CrossFit Games before as in the teens division?
Missed it by 1 point, injured myself, then qualified in second to Emma Carey, and it got canceled because of COVID. So never as a team, no.
Okay. So you
And
did
tell him about last year.
And then last year, 17, and I missed the CrossFit Games by 1 point again.
Wow.
But this time as an individual. So it's been a good 4 years, and now 5. It's yeah.
You know whose story that sounds familiar to? It's
Brent
Brent
Fikowski.
Fikowski.
Yeah.
There you go, Susan.
I was thinking about that too, right when she said that.
I like him, so I'm not mad about that comparison.
Me too. I love him. He's dope.
I think he's cool.
Yeah, me too. I've told my kids that Brent Fikowski is really Santa Claus. That's how much I like him.
He's the tooth fairy.
No. Pat Vellner's the tooth fairy. It's all Canadian dudes. So 1 year you missed it by 1 point. Another year you made it, but COVID, and then so you missed it 1 point teens, then made teens, but there was no teens because of COVID, and then you missed going as an individual last year by 1 point.
One spot, a couple points, but yeah, like 3 seconds. I also did an extra clean and jerk on Gretel, and they didn't get in CrossFit Games didn't give that back to me, so it was like an extra clean and jerk, one more snatch. It was like one of those 1 second margin types things, but it was like maybe 3 points or something. But yeah, 6th.
Okay, what is this? Sorry to interrupt your story. Who? What is this? This old man cracks me up. Who's that?
It's definitely about me.
Definitely. What the fuck is this guy talking about? Shave this shit off and look younger than your mama. Okay, so you come down there and you're really pumped. And do you have the whole thing laid out on how you're going to, what days you're going to do the workout? Have you and Brett, not Brent Fikowski, Brett, have you and Brett, your coach, laid it out? Okay, these are the days you're going to do the workouts. This is how you're going to submit them. Here's the computer. Or are you like, okay, I'm just going to figure out what Kotler and gang are doing and do it that way?
Exactly. One of my best qualities, I guess, is I'm like pretty adaptable. So we were just kind of like I honestly didn't really talk to Brett until he got down there. And even then, even like the underdogs hadn't really laid much out until we knew what the workouts were, because it's kind of hard to plan like time domains, heat, all that, and what workouts you're doing first, like unless you know them. So no, I just rolled with it. And once they got announced, that's when we kind of laid everything out. And I just did what they told me.
Okay. And can you give me an example of what that looks like? The first workout was announced Friday, right? Is that how it worked, Brian? Thursday. So the first workout was announced Thursday. So and then you had to do 2 workouts by noon on Friday, and then 2 workouts by noon on Saturday, and 2 workouts by noon on Sunday.
1 for Sunday.
1, okay, for a total of 5. And then when does it close on Sunday? The last video submission has to be up.
12 for us. 12 p.m.
12 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Pacific.
Yeah.
Okay.
12 p.m. Vegas time, whatever that is.
Okay. Oh, and they're on the same time as California now because of the daylight savings. Does anyone know?
I think always.
Always? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you in conjunction with anyone else when you do this? Do you have a buddy who's like, okay, we're going to do me and Danielle are going to do these 2 workouts on Thursday, then we're going to do these 2 on Friday and this one on Saturday, and we're going to be done. Like, did you have a buddy that you were going to do it with?
Everybody did the same. We all did the same workouts, like at the same time. We just ran heats. Like nobody did a different order of workouts. Every single person at Underdogs did the same order.
Okay.
How many total athletes? 20, 30?
So there was myself, Christine Best came, Danielle, Kyra, Sabrina, Mitch, Matt, Raph, Allison, Dakota, Nicole. Let's say there was
a dozen or so.
Yeah, a dozen or so.
And
most of these athletes either made the semifinals or were very close, or maybe even all of them made it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there was maybe just a couple that were outside. Yeah.
And what does the facility look like? It's just it's one giant room, like the barn at Mayhem. It's basically one giant room. It's just a giant gym.
Yeah, it's
The
just
CrossFit gym.
just a big old CrossFit gym.
And so you walk in, you put your shit down, and someone says, okay, we're going to be starting the workout in 30 minutes, and everyone starts doing their shit, warming up, getting their bars, making sure they have their judges, all that stuff.
Yeah, basically. And Justin and Kiefer and Jared and even Brett, like they're getting the heat sorted out. They're kind of lining the floors and stuff. Like they're, normal kind of. I'm just waiting until I get told what heat I'm going to go in. Danielle a couple of times told me when I was going, like just made the executive decision for me. And I was like, great. And I just go and do the workout. And we'd always have someone we were doing it with, like nobody was ever alone. And it was typically someone that you get a good push off of and a good matchup with. But
And who's responsible for your camera?
Brett.
Okay.
Typically, well, it's funny. We actually kind of made this joke at the start. Typically, it's my mom, and because she's done that since I was 14, because I have competed online. Although it may seem like I'm a fucking newbie when it comes to cameras and score submissions, I've been doing online competitions since I was 14. And so my mom's always been the one who set up the video and made sure everything's perfect. So we were kind of looking at each other. I was like, don't make me do the video. He was like, it's all right. I got it. Cause I'm not used to doing that. But yeah, Brett was in charge of my video, and video we had no issues with. Yeah.
That's got to be so stressful. If I was setting up video for athletes to submit scores, my OCD would fire up so hard. I'd be like going over, is the red light on? Is the red light on? What's the battery doing? I'd be freaking out.
We spend, so if anybody who knows me knows that after any time I do a video, I'm like going through and I'm like, oh my God, like right here, I did this rep too fast and you can't see my elbows lock out all the way. Like, are they going to penalize me? And Brett's like, Anikha, you're one of the best movers I've ever seen. Like, I've never gotten a penalty also in the 4 or 5 years I've done online competitions. I've never gotten a penalty, knock on wood. But so it's like, I'm always so stressed about my videos. And Brett's always like, Anikha, it's done. Move past it. It's fine. So all of this is very, very ironic to me.
So Thursday, is that when you do the first 2 workouts?
Yeah.
Okay. And you do the workouts, and then who uploads them? Does someone do they hand you a GoPro, or they hand you your cell phone back to you and then you upload them?
Yeah, Brett uploaded all of them immediately after. There's like Wodaplooza has it. It's really simple. You just upload it to YouTube straight from Wodaplooza. And so as soon as we were done, we would start uploading the videos. Okay.
So there's an app called Wodaplooza that uses the phone and that uses the camera inside of the Apple iPhone. You open up the app, you record it, and then straight from there's a button and it goes up to your YouTube account.
Goes up to Brett's, my coach's. I don't know how to YouTube account.
Okay. And then from there, let's talk about that later. And then from there, you put from there, you submit a link. Tell me then what happens from there. So then you upload your first 2 workouts, and then what happens?
And then I go onto the app, realize I can't do anything through the app, then go to the website, and I go to my dashboard and copy and paste the link in, like submit everything and click submit. And 99% of the time, I then go back, like reload the page, go back into my dashboard, click score submission history, select the workout, and take a screenshot of my score saying either like pending or whatever it says before the leaderboard goes up. And I do that 99.99999% of the time.
Okay. Let me just make sure I understand this. So you do the workout. The whole crew does the workout. You use the Wodaplooza app. You upload it to Brett's YouTube. Then you find a computer. Is that computer in the venue? Is it in the building?
I use my phone.
Okay, so you try to use an app on the phone. The app doesn't work, so you use the browser on your phone.
Yeah.
And you copy the links from Brett's. You go to the CrossFitGames.com website. You submit your scores, which is a number. It's a time, right, for the first 2 workouts.
Mm-hmm.
And you also copy and paste a link from Brett's YouTube page.
Yeah.
So then you went back and you checked it and took a picture.
Yep.
Day 1 in the books.
Exactly.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Day two. Same thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's there. Everyone's cool. Danielle's done. Danielle's done pouting that you're there. She's ready to fucking kick some ass.
Yeah.
No one's like waiting at the door being like, sorry, Anika, you can't come in. Danielle brought bouncers and you can't come.
Close set.
Not yet.
Okay, so you do the 2 workouts. Who sets up your camera again? Same dude?
Yeah,
Brett. Is it hard to talk about this?
No, I mean,
okay.
it's hard to talk, period. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. I mean, obviously we're definitely going to get to a point where it's not fun to talk about, but I definitely need to.
Okay, so day 2 happens just like day 1, including that thing that you mentioned at the end where you go back, you refresh it, and you take a picture of that you've submitted it. Okay, and why do you do that?
Because I know technology fails sometimes. And I know a couple athletes last year had issues where they submitted a score. And luckily, because they took a screenshot, they were able to be okay and have proof that it went through. So it's just it's a backup plan. We actually almost always have 2 cameras going during my workouts. We just didn't and this was another thing that I was like, holy crap, we only got 1 camera going. Like that was a big stress to me. So it's like we are notorious for hitting every single possible error, covering all of our bases.
Okay. Do they require so when you take that screenshot, you can see the date and the time?
Yeah, and on the WOD-proof video, there is a timestamp, and you can also look back on the date at which the YouTube video was posted and see when it was posted. There's lots of yeah.
Okay. Let's take a quick break to see what this person. Chris Fugat says, Danielle, you were a bitch to Anika too. That's 2 O's means also, right? Like referencing she's a bitch to. We actually made over at the Sevan podcast we made a few graphics yesterday. It's a silhouette of Danielle, and then the slogan below it says does not play nice with others. We haven't shown anyone yet, but we're planning a full attack on Miss Danielle Brand.
We're working around copyright.
Does not play nice with others. Okay, so the last day goes, and this is you're not even planning on working out on Sunday, right? This is Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you do the workout. And what was that last workout?
It was 30 cal row, 20 burpee box jump overs, 10 power snatch at 135.
Cool. And do you like that workout?
So I was really excited for that workout because last year my worst quarters event was the burpee box jump over power snatch. And rowing, burpees are 2 of my historic, if you followed my season last year, I think Brian knows this, are 2 of my worst historic movements ever. And power snatch, like power output, I'm much better at squat snatching. So it was something that last year would have killed me. But I also knew how much I'd been like working on it. So I was actually really excited because I really wanted to see how far I'd improved. And I was really, really happy with the workout. I was really happy.
You mean with your you were excited to showcase your talents, but you're also happy with your performance.
I was so happy with my performance because it's one of those workouts where like I get more stressed for workouts I know I can do well in because there's more pressure, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. So I was terrified, and it went so well for me. So the workout itself and my performance was great.
Brian, did she do good?
What'd you say it was like a 315 or something? 350?
Yeah, 350. I was like, I wish it was 315.
Yeah, I can't remember which one, but
350. It's still lots of room for me to improve, but last year it would have been over 430 probably.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I didn't know your time until earlier when your post went up, and I was said, it's a pretty good time.
You wouldn't, would you?
Hey, what place were you in after day 1?
4th.
You were 4th in the worldwide quarterfinals.
Just
In the quarterfinal.
America.
I'm sorry?
Just North America. I don't know about worldwide.
Okay, North America. Okay, thank you. So you were
the worldwide is fun to look at, but the North America, the continental one's the only one that really matters.
Okay, and you needed to be in the top 120.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how about after day 2? What place were you
in? Day 2, I got a little hurt because I can't bench, and the wall balls hurt me. So I think I was 15th or 16th.
Still amazing. Good. You got 105 places to play with.
Yeah.
Okay. And with this score of 350, do we know where Anika Anika or Anika?
She knows, yeah.
Anika. Do you know what place you would be, Anika, with the 350?
Yeah, I'd be like 15th or 16th.
Wow. Did I mention I'm 50 years old?
No way.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking hard to believe. I know people in the comments have a hard time believing it too. Okay. So you do that workout and what when you finish it, do you remember the exact first thing you did? Like immediately, did you lie on the ground? Did you go hug Brett? No.
I think I went and hugged Brett. I think Cooper gave me a big old slap. And I think I went and hugged Brett, and then I went and I went and found Kyra, like a couple of the other girls who were there, and went and gave them a hug because it was like, oh my God, we're done.
And you knew, and you felt like you did well.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to redo. I knew it's like one of those things where the whole weekend it was like, oh, if I redid, maybe I could get a second or two. But it's like, for me, it was all about effort and execution. And those two things I think I did better than I almost ever have. So I knew I wasn't redoing. I knew I was done.
And this is Saturday. I just want to be super duper clear. This is Saturday, March 26th.
Yes.
Okay. And so the workout wasn't due until Sunday, March 27th at noon.
Yeah.
And do you know what time you finished the workout?
I can tell you right now.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see.
If I go back.
Are you looking at a screenshot right now? The screenshot you took?
I didn't take a screenshot.
What time did you know what time?
It Saturday at like, it was in the afternoon. Let's say 4 p.m. because I was looking at the pictures I had saved from it, but I downloaded those after. But let's say it was like Saturday 4 p.m.
Okay. And how many people were in the room with you when you did it?
Everyone, literally every single person there.
So 20 people.
Yeah, plus cameramen, plus I'm like, we have so much footage of me doing it on time. Also, in the back of my video is Christine Best doing it at the same time as me. And in the back of Christine Best's submitted video is me doing the workout at the same time as her.
Okay. So you finish, let's say it's approximately 4 p.m. on Saturday, March 26th. You have ample time to upload it. Do you do your normal routine? Do you go over and check the video? Did you go over and check Wodaplooza, the app?
Yeah.
And you liked what you saw?
Yeah, video was fine. Brett immediately looks at me and Brett's like, I'm going to go upload this. And I said, sounds good. And he went and sat in the corner like he normally did and uploaded it. And then he texted me the link. And I copy and pasted the link.
Wow. Okay. It did make it to YouTube 100%. He got the link.
Yep.
Okay.
Video, all good. Everything up Saturday at like.
Is it up right now?
Yeah.
Can you go to his YouTube page, Souza, and let's just take a look at it because that will have a stamp and a date on it too. The date it went up, right?
What's his YouTube page?
So the only thing is I'm not sure if it's restricted. However, I can go get you this link right now. And I can email it to you guys because
you shoot in the email because when you upload it too, it gives you a timestamp of once you uploaded it.
Yep.
So it'll have it all in there.
100%.
Okay. So then he sends and he does that and he sends it. The link. He sends you the link. He texts it to you.
Yes.
This Brett character. Okay.
Just found it right now.
And then you know that the app doesn't work. So you go through Safari again to go to CrossFitGames.com and you submit your score.
Yes, there we go. I just emailed you the link. Yeah. So I open up Safari and I remember vividly because I remember vividly filling everything out because I remember copying and pasting the link, putting it in. I remember going back to the link, making sure that it fully opened because I was like, oh shoot, I don't want them to have an issue where like they can't actually get into it because if it's like restricted and blah 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 whatever.
Right.
So then I re-copy and pasted it and put it back. I remember changing because the default affiliate thing always says CrossFit 782 for me, and I was like, oh, I'm not a CrossFit 782, so I remember changing that. I remember switching the judge to Cooper Marsh. I remember filling out everything, clicking submit, and going goodbye, like closing the phone, closing it down, and being like, I'm done. Because it was
do you think that's what did it? That you closed turned your phone off? before it was
could
done.
have been, I mean, I know that people were having internet issues with uploading it at the gym. Like that was a big conversation this weekend, was that I think some people had to submit a score without the video and then send the video in later. And so like the internet also wasn't great there. I was having to use my data a lot of the time. I might have been on the internet. It very well could have been that I closed it too soon. Like there could have been so many little tech things, but I know I filled everything out. It's just what happened between filling it out and the CrossFit Games receiving that information. It's a mystery.
Were you guys using Wi-Fi in the gym or cellular? Do you know?
Depends on if it was loading or not. There'd be some days I'd be like on Instagram and nothing would load. So I'd be like, fuck this. And I'd turn off the Wi-Fi and use my data.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I was on data or if I was on Wi-Fi during that.
God, you're a keeper. I'm going to say something really sexist here. A girl that knows the difference between cellular and Wi-Fi. That's amazing. Awesome. Make a note of that. Any dudes who are watching, she can run faster and lift more than you, and she's technically smarter than you. Just keep her.
Is she though?
Okay.
Did you send it to the Sevan email or to Sevan himself? I don't
know. I sent it to whoever sent me, I think the Sevan podcast.
Yeah, that was it. I don't have it yet.
Okay, so it's up, and then so Sunday comes around, and you're checking the leaderboard, and you don't see your name. Tell me how it unfolds from there.
Yeah, so exactly. So here's
why didn't you take a picture that time? Do you have a strong like OCD? Like, do you check to see if your front door's locked 5 or 6 times? Do you do that weird shit that I do? No, you don't do that.
Sometimes I'm too laid back.
Okay.
Typically not on things I care about and things that my entire life revolves around.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have this question has been haunting my brain for the past 4 days of why didn't I double check? And I mean, it's $1 million question. But yeah, like I put it in, and because I vividly remember, and it's Cooper and Brett, I remember asked me multiple times, you put your score in, right? And I'm like, yes, because I have that image in my brain of me filling everything out. I was like, yeah, it's in.
At this point, it almost doesn't even matter, right?
Yeah.
If you did or if you didn't.
I'm like, I'm in. Like I knew I had a good score. And I think for me is like I wasn't even checking. I honestly wasn't even on my phone that much. It has been a very, very long weekend. Just very out of my own element, around people who are very different than the people I'm normally around. A totally different environment. Also, I'm also at an Airbnb now because Brett came, so me and Brett stayed together. This Airbnb does not have Wi-Fi. It doesn't have windows. The oven lights on fire. We're in literally the most like unfathomable environment ever, completely outside our comfort zone. I lit the oven on fire. Like there's just so many little things.
We do it different here in America.
Is that the same place Ricky stayed when he went there?
Maybe there's like chickens outside. I was like,
no. Ricky stayed in one of those hotels where they charge by the hour. Like you just go in and fucking leave. It sounds like she got
basically
Airbnb.
I'm like, what did they do in this? There was no racks in the oven. I was like, what are they using this oven for?
Wow.
Like it was, so anyway, so it's like we're just all over the place too, because I was jumping between going back to Danielle's to do recovery stuff, going to Kyra's, like all over the place, like just because I can't really do much in my own Airbnb. So it was kind of, we're just all over the place a little bit. But when I think about like why I didn't, it had been such a long 2 weeks with so many things throwing. And I think
sorry to interrupt you. When you went to Danielle's house, did you see that couch that she walked on barefoot and made that Instagram video?
The orange couch?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we love that couch. That's an expensive ass couch.
God, can you imagine she can make, I was just tripping on that. She's so amazing that she can make an Instagram post of her just walking around her house, opening and closing blinds. Fuck. You should have put on those exact same clothes and done that video and posted.
No, she made that video while I was sleeping.
That's so
I was
good.
asleep in the other room.
That's how you know you're on another level. This world is not fair.
She got 10,000 followers off that video.
Yeah, my goodness.
I don't put it.
My goodness. Okay, so then you submit this thing, you turn it off, and then I want to know when you realize that something's not right.
Yeah, so the next morning there was
this is Sunday, March
27th.
Okay, 27th. Okay.
So we're going to the gym. So the night before we had gone because we were done and like we were all hanging out, having fun. So the next morning we were like, let's go in and watch the couple people that are going to redo, like support, like now we were in the like kind of much more chill phase. All of the tensions had kind of dropped a little bit. So anyways, we were like, yeah, let's go watch, cheer everyone on who's going to redo. And like, if you know me, I'm like a very, like, I love lifting people up and I love cheering. Part of the reason I don't have a voice, I will scream until I pass out for you. Like, I was so excited to go cheer these people on. So anyways, like Raf's redoing it. Raf redid the workout twice back to back because he finished. He's like, oh, I can do better, and did it again. We were just like all kind of going nuts. And then everybody finishes and we're like, oh, let's go get breakfast. So like, we're just kind of, my mind is no longer thinking about competing. It's just done and dusted.
What are you wearing that day?
I'm trying to think.
I'm wondering, like, could you? I'm just picturing out when you said you're done. I'm like, I don't believe her. She probably like had some gear on, like she's ready to jump in.
Like, I'm trying to think of something clever to say right now, but
did you have high heels on?
Yeah, definitely. No,
okay,
I didn't have socks on though. I didn't have socks on.
Okay.
I remember that. I had my rad shoes on with no socks.
Okay.
And I remember joking to a couple people because I was getting so fired up for everyone like redoing. I was like, man, now I want to repeat. But I was like, nah, just kidding. No, I don't. Anyways, so everybody finishes and we're all like, let's go get like a good breakfast. Like, let's go get brunch, get something. So we were like all going as a group. Not even thinking about competing anymore. I think I was also, obviously I'm so mentally exhausted, and that one wall ball workout, it was one of those workouts where it just kind of like fucks you. And it really hurt me, even just like I didn't feel in control of my body whatsoever. And so I think I was a little bummed because I knew I wasn't going to finish exactly where I wanted to because of this one workout. So I think for me, I was just like, leaderboard's done. Now it's time to move on to semis. Like, this doesn't matter anymore. So my brain wasn't even on competing anymore. It was just on like, you leave in a couple of days. Let's have fun with the people here while you can. So we go get breakfast. I'm sitting down eating, and all of a sudden it's like 12:20. And I remember being like, oh, like, let's see if the leaderboard's up. I wonder if it'll go faster because it's the last one kind of thing. And I open up my Safari, and this is the first time I've opened Safari since yesterday.
This is a good story.
Yeah. So if you'd been following my Instagram throughout the weekend, I basically was posting like an asshole. I was posting every 2 seconds, like one after every workout, like keeping everyone updated. And I hadn't even posted anything for this workout because, again, I was just like off the phone, off the Instagram. Just it can wait. And I open up Safari for the first time, and my dashboard is open, and I'm like, weird. And then I'm looking, and I'm like, why is that empty?
You mean like where you filled out the numbers was empty?
No. It was just like if you go on dashboard, it says like workout submission history.
Okay.
And so I'm like seeing 5 and it's empty. Like, there's nothing there. And I'm like checking 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all there. And I'm like, and so then I look at Cooper. I'm like, Cooper, where the fuck is my score? He's like, oh, is the leaderboard up? I'm like, no, like, it's not up, but I can't find it on my dashboard. He's like, I watched you submit it. I was like, I know, like, everybody watched me submit it. I did it in the gym. Like, and at this point, like, nobody else is even really listening to me. They're all just kind of like, whatever. Like, nobody was like, oh my God. Like, we're all just kind of like, oh, interesting. And my immediate reaction, obviously, is I'm flipping my shit because I'm like, I can't find my score.
Like when you say flipping your shit, you're starting to get nauseous.
Yes, it's that
immediate
that blood pressure drop where you just go, I fucked up. Something got fucked up. And I initially don't know what's wrong because I remember submitting it. That's what I remember. And I go back in my camera roll expecting to see a screenshot. And that's when I went, you fucking idiot, you didn't screenshot it. And I'm just like, oh my God, Cooper, what do I do? And he's like, Anikha, let me eat my bacon, relax. It's like, let me eat my pancakes. Like, you're going to be okay. Like, send them an email. It's only 15, like it was 12:15, 12:20. He's like, it's 15 minutes past the deadline. You still have almost an hour until the leaderboard goes up. Like, explain to them, send them the link. Like, you have it timestamped. You're good. And so I was like, okay. Like, we'll be fine.
Do you think, was he faking his calmness or he really was that calm?
I think, he wasn't calm. Like, I don't care, but it was more of like, all right, that's unusual, but it'll get sorted kind of calm.
Yeah, like
it
I'd be
wasn't-
faking it, but I'd be freaking out if I
No,
was a
Yeah.
manager.
I think the main problem was that no one likes to be interrupted when they're eating pancakes.
Right.
Yeah.
Did he start doing the thing that Marston and Heber did? Like, did he start stand over his pancakes and start
Yeah, a
doggy paddling?
montage started to play
Yeah.
while he was eating.
Oh, no, wrong vibes. But
Okay, all
yeah,
right.
he was, I don't think he wasn't nonchalant and calm, and he did look at me. He's like, make sure you don't fucking make this mistake again, whatever mistake happened. And this was after like we maybe realized there was something wrong with my internet. At first we were like, oh, like the CrossFit Games app is weird. Like they leaked their workouts early. Something probably got fucked up, you know?
Yeah,
So
they
anyway.
understand fuck ups. Multiple.
Right? Like not unusual. So
Listen, you got to do what they do. Get shit out early, not get shit in late.
I know, and I'm like, I did it the day before. But anyway, so I email CrossFit Games support. Yeah, so I email support, and I think I said basically like, hey, I'm so sorry for this inconvenience. I finished the workout yesterday, submitted my score with the video. I just went on my dashboard. And honestly, if I had sent this email 15 minutes earlier, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Because in the rule books, like if you have an issue with your score, as long as you email them before the deadline, it's fine. And it was about 15 minutes, 20 minutes past the deadline. So anyways, I emailed them. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like on me, I don't know what happened. I submitted my score and it's not there anymore. Here is my time. Here is the link to my video. You can check the timestamp. It says posted a whole day ago. Like, here's all of the evidence I have. I'm sorry. And they basically said, we're not taking any more times that or scores at this time. Like that sucks. Sorry.
Wait a second. So Cooper tells you to send an email. You send an email. You lay out your case. You show the stuff that you show basically the information that they need to know that you finished it in time, and you receive. Is it like an auto response? You receive an auto response that says no.
No, Angel, I think is her name was.
Okay. Yeah, Angel Forbes probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she emailed me back, and so I actually sent 2 emails. The first one was explaining what happened, explaining that my score should be in there. I don't know what happened. I submitted it. Where is it? And she emailed me back and said, hi, Anika, we don't have any record of your score, and we're not accepting new scores at this time. And I was like, okay, that's weird. Maybe it was my internet. Right now I'm trying to let me make it my fault because I really don't know what's going on. So I was like, all right, like maybe it was my internet. I know we've been having some internet issues, but like I remember submitting it. Here's my video. Here's proof I did it on time. And that's when she was like, really sorry. No. No more conversation basically. And that's when I sent a screenshot. Also, in this moment, let me just paint a picture. I have just Ubered back to my Airbnb. But there's only one set of keys and Brett still has them. So I get back to my Airbnb 25 minutes away from Danielle's where everyone else is and where I'm supposed to be going back, but I have to get clothes first and shower and whatever.
And the oven's on fire.
My oven's on fire. No, I don't have keys. And so I had already had to break into my Airbnb once for the same reason because there was so much going on. Brett still had the keys. You had to like slide the window out and all this. And I can't break into my Airbnb for some reason. I think the window got locked from the inside. So I'm like trying to shake this window, trying to get in. I'm getting covered in dirt. I'm like pretty sure I've started to cry at this point because I just opened the email. I'm like, they're not taking my score. I can't get my stuff. So I'm like calling Cooper out of breath because I'm trying to break into this Airbnb. And he's like,
Anika, how many back and forths did you have with them, with HQ?
I only had 2 myself personally. I only spoke to Angel. That's the only person I talked to personally.
And did you actually ever talk to her? So you said, hey, here's the evidence I have. They said, we're not taking scores. Then you wrote back again and said, but please do take my scores because look it.
I said, here's more evidence. And they still didn't change their answer.
So they got back to you again.
Yeah. So they answered twice. And I never wrote anything else because I figured I've just given them all the information I can. And it's really easy to say no over an email to some random person you don't know.
And they know who you are. How many did anyone on your team speak to anyone on the HQ team? Did anyone speak to Angel or Lucas or Justin Berg or any of those guys? David, who's the other guy? There's a Eubanks guy over there. Adrian Bosman. Anyone speak to those guys?
Oh yeah, there's many more conversations to be had. I'm just not part of them anymore because it's kind of gone above me. And that's when I called Cooper and I was like, Coop, they just answered really poorly to my emails. And he's like, all right, I'll make some phone calls. Don't worry. So Coop's now getting on calls with people, and I don't know who he called first. I really don't know. I wasn't part of these steps. Him, Brett, and Kiefer kind of were. I know he called somebody, a friend he has at HQ. Yeah, I know he called a bunch of people. I really don't know who and in what order, truthfully. Yeah, I wasn't part of that conversation, but I do know eventually he hit enough dead ends that Danielle texted Dave Castro. And Danielle was like, Dave, what the heck do we do right now? And Dave was like, I would fix this. We were like, but you can't. So please help. And he gave us Adrian Bosman's number. I was really appreciative, honestly, of Dave trying to help. That meant a lot to me because I still don't think I'm kind of a nobody still. So I was honestly, anybody who tried to help me, it meant a lot. But he gave us Adrian Bosman's number. And this is, I think, when we kind of started to go, so Cooper called Adrian, and Adrian basically gave him just a flat no, like not a chance, no discussion, no. And that was when we first started going like, because we expected it to be a bit of a non-issue. It was kind of like crap, something got messed up. It should be really easy to fix, especially because the leaderboard hadn't even been updated yet. Nobody will notice. You have all the proof in the world. You did not cheat. You did not forget. You did not try to skirt around the rules.
Is there any reason why they would be afraid of a lawsuit if they did accept your score? Like, what does that open up if they do accept your score? Here's what my immediate thought is this. The goal is to make this good for all not for all the athletes. It's good. It's supposed to be good for the community, and that there are levels to the game, and we all, I think, should accept them, and that we are not all created equally, and we are not all equal. And so I feel like that there should be maybe more leeway for people going into day 3 that get the top 100 in every region should get some leeway or have a different protocol. Like if you're fighting over 32nd thousandth place and 32nd thousand in first place, kind of go eat a dick. But if not, say that again.
Is there an official rule on this, Brian? Do you know what the official rule is? Like, is there something written about?
I think they followed the official rule. The official rule is what what Anikha got.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, from my perspective, the communication from CrossFit was very clear, consistent, and available on multiple platforms for athletes. And Anikha knows that, and all the athletes know this. And it was, if you submit a score after the deadline, that we're not going to accept it. And if you are concerned about having a problem submitting a score before the deadline, there's a protocol to go through, which is the one that Anikha and her team followed, only they had done it 15 minutes too late. The thing is, she's not the only one who's had this problem. And there were several athletes that are very relevant in the European region that had some time change problems. I think there's specifically in Belgium, the group of athletes that had this problem. It's Manu Nangonis, Jelle Host, Martin Solheim had this problem, and I'm sure there were some other ones as well.
Well, when you say this problem, though, not the specific problem, hers was an uploading error. Theirs was a time submission error.
When I say this problem, what I'm referring to is that for whatever reason, their video was not submitted on time.
Okay, what do they have in common with her besides that? Are they all top 100 in their quarterfinals?
All 3 of those athletes, if they had been able to participate in the quarters fully, would have qualified for semifinals and have top 10 potential in the European region at a semifinal.
Fair. Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Go on.
It's not interrupting, it's clarification. It's important. So CrossFit's had a clear communication. This is the policy, and this is what we're going to stick to. All the athletes knew that. Several athletes, for whatever reason, didn't submit their videos on time and have since then tried to appeal that process. So I'm surmising that CrossFit had some kind of meeting and said, okay, we have all these athletes that are coming here with these issues. What are we going to do? And there's 2 things that I would really like to point out here. One is they have potentially 15,000 people doing this competition. They have potentially 600 athletes. Well, there are 600 athletes advancing to the next stage of competition, and each of those athletes have to submit 5 videos. So that's 3,000 videos to review. And that's a lot of things to take in mind. And I think that's why they were so specific to say, this is on each of you. You are one athlete. Make sure you get your stuff in on time. We have to deal with 15,000 people in this competition, and we want to have a quick turnaround and be able to do our job. So take that responsibility and do that. So obviously that makes sense that they would want to put it on the athlete or their teams or whomever. On the
what about this, Brian? Can I say, what if they had something that said, hey, for $250, we'll review your shit for you?
well, I have a
You know, they're all about that cheddar now too.
Well, I don't blame them for that. I don't blame them. Someone's got to get paid to fix this issue. Sorry.
Explain what you mean by that.
So Anikha writes the email and says, hey, my shit's fucked up. Look, I turned it in time. Here's all my pictures. I just forgot to take a picture on this day. Here's the other 15 camera angles of the other 15 people. You can see me in the background. And they said, sorry, you know the rules. And she's like, okay, I'd like to go through one final appeals process. And they go, okay, we'll give you a special appeals. Like where at this point, the consideration is whether she's telling the truth beyond all doubt. But it costs $250. I don't give a fuck. Make it $1,000.
Yeah, it's like
I don't care how much you charge for it.
I mean, look, there's a lot.
Something where she has to put her ass on the line, and then they can be like, hey, there is a question here. We notice your iPhone is an iPhone 11, and they've been known to have the date wrong. And here's the thing.
Sure.
Yeah, like, but if they can't do that, then she pays $1,000 and she moves on. But she owns it. I mean, it just seems crazy to me that. I'm totally for the rules guy, but there's such compelling evidence.
Yeah, that's what I think.
But
And she's an elite athlete. It's not like she's not.
There is definitely that. I'm just saying there are other perspectives that are worth considering. And one of those perspectives is with, you know, a good comparison I think here is what happened with Tia and several other athletes last year who were unable to have a realistic way to travel and compete at their semifinal. Tia is obviously extremely well known. Most of the other athletes who had the situation are far less known, but CrossFit made a policy in the middle of the season and said, if you have this circumstance, send it our way and we will, you know, evaluate on a case-by-case basis. And they basically granted everyone who had a semblance of a case that it's really difficult for me to travel to where I'm supposed to do the semifinal, that they would let them compete in a semifinal that was actually something they could get to. So they made an exception for a rule for one, and so they applied it to everyone. And I'm guessing that that's what the conversation was like here. Is like, if we're going to make an exception for Anikha, we also have to do it for these athletes in Europe, and we also have to do it for whoever other athletes had this problem. But what comes into play there is that there's going to be some athlete, if Anikha gets in, and obviously based on our capacity, she should be in, then that means someone is out. And that someone that's out is going to be sitting there and say, I know she's better than me, but she didn't follow the rules and I did. Why am I being forced out because of this? And so CrossFit's got a lot of perspectives to consider. And like, I think some of the people in the comments have been saying, this is just in general a really unfortunate situation. I think there are solutions that we could potentially have in the future that could prevent this from happening. And some of those have been mentioned in the comments as well. But in this case, as this was unfolding this week, I basically had this and I even talked to Anikha and I said, you know, be prepared for either decision, and really whichever way they go on this, I'm going to probably be supportive of them.
She's a page one girl.
Yeah.
She's a fucking page one girl. She's in there. The immediate name that she would be adjacent to is Fee Sagafi. She's not on page 10. I hear you. You're bringing up two crazy good points. The points is that what do you do what if 10,000 of these come in and CrossFit's overwhelmed? Because if you do for one, you have to do for all. And the other one is it's unfair to that other person. But you know what? I don't care about that other one. Like, I don't care about that other person. I care about the truth and just getting down to getting the best people in there, especially at this level. It's so easy.
The body of evidence she has, though, that's the crazy thing. There's so much.
And that's another thing. Tia could have gone back. Tia could have gone back to Australia. These people, I realize it was a worldwide pandemic, but these people could have gone back. Her situation is black and white. Anikha's. She's either going or she's not.
Well,
and these people have all the power.
There are things that she hasn't even brought up that I could make a case for her. It's like the reason why I asked her how many athletes did those workouts. Let's say there's a dozen athletes that were doing the workouts there at Underdogs, and each one of them submitted 5 videos, and 10 of the 12 athletes made it to the semifinals. That's 50 successful video submissions, and the 51st didn't happen for whatever reason. And there's, there's certainly a really strong case here. What I'm saying is, if the people that want to be super critical of CrossFit, like, take a step back and think about how difficult of a decision that is for them.
Yeah.
And don't
And
forget
it is-
that they
and it is
communicated
Anika's
on
fault.
multiple platforms ahead of time, and they have that to fall back on.
Right. Do we all agree? Anika, do you agree this is your fault?
Yeah, 100%. I agree. The root cause of this issue
Yeah.
is my fault. I am absolving myself of nothing by saying that I think the punishment doesn't fit the crime. That's not at all what I'm trying to do. But I think that there's, and I agree with the European. I actually had no idea about this issue happening with the European athletes and the time change. But I also think what we were trying to do, I appreciate this, Beck. But anyways,
I can't believe, I want to talk about this when you're done, by the way. I can't believe that there isn't a confirmation email. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. But I feel like what we were trying to prove was that my situation was very different. I know there was someone earlier in the season who forgot to submit a score, who was very fit, and that really obviously hurt their season. They were done because they forgot. I did not forget. I literally did it a day early. I also didn't try to wait until the last minute and then the time changed, like it was an hour too late all of a sudden. Like, I did it a day early. I just made the mistake of being done with it too soon, and whether that means I mentally checked out too soon, or what. Like, obviously we're gonna do some, because it did, and I am very aware of the fact that this happened to, like, I am the only person this happened to. Not the only one, but like the one who like didn't check. Like, there is a reason I did not check, and whether that be a mental fatigue thing, like there's obviously something that I'm going to do in the future to make sure that never happens again. But that lesson has already been learned, clearly. And I don't think the punishment of ending my entire season fits the crime of something happened with my phone or my internet, and I did not see it until too late. And 90% of, like, the root cause of all of this is my fault. I absolve myself of nothing. But yeah, the response is what's unfathomable to me.
Sevan, or Matt, can you pull up that comment from Courtney Guthrie? Look, man, last year, Bailey Rail got in on a backfill to semifinals and finished in the top 20 of the CrossFit Games. There's a reason why the semifinals is a separate stage of competition from the quarterfinals. And just really, that might be an outlier of a statistic, but nevertheless, like, put yourself in that athlete's shoes. If you're the person that's 121 or 120 and this happens and they grant you the reason in it, and you don't end up getting to compete there, how are you going to feel? You feel like you should have had a chance.
Meaning, yeah.
It's a brutal situation. There's not a good way out here.
I want to see this leak the workouts, but don't send confirmations. You didn't receive any confirmations after day 1, 2, or 2 that they received your?
I mean, I got my videos accepted, as in they reviewed my videos.
But that's well after the fact, right?
But there should be an auto response when your shit gets there. You know, you send for those of you who are complaining about my swearing, this is not the show for you. I'm telling you, like, I want to be Andrew Dice Clay so bad, and I'm just doing this CrossFit shit because I got nothing else going on with my pathetic fucking life. Switch the fuck off. Okay, so basically, you send that, you submit your score, and there should be just an auto reply. Yeah. Miss Anikha Greer, we received your blah blah blah. We'll be responding to you shortly about after we review your video. Yeah,
that'd be great. But yeah. Nobody else has those either.
Do we know how many people are in Anika's situation? Like, do they have 1,000 of these?
No. Huh.
No.
I don't know, but I'm aware of, I'm aware of, including Anikha and the 3 European athletes I mentioned, 4 athletes who I think would have a legitimate chance to, at the very least, make the last chance qualifier if they were granted this leniency by CrossFit, that will be missing from the semifinal stage of competition.
Well, I wonder what Dave would do. I heard
before it even became a thing, he probably wouldn't even have known
that it would have been someone on the team would have taken care of it.
I don't know. I don't know Dave personally, but
I heard that when you guys first tried to get in touch with Justin, that he was out of town, that he was on vacation. Is that true?
He was in the mountains and his service was bad, so him and Cooper were texting, and then they got on a call. I think they did. So you're talking about this whole appeal process, like paying to have an appeal process. I think Justin did like have a meeting with CrossFit HQ about I don't know if it was solely about me or if it was about this whole situation with the European athletes involved. So they did talk about it.
He's
But-
not answering to anyone. He's at the top. This is his decision. I'm 99% sure that this is 100% his decision. That there's not the team is thin. It's either his decision or Adrian's decision. There's only It's interesting.
Yeah.
But like part of me, like I get them. I'm not like, hey, you did something wrong or immoral. It just seems that
Let's get the CEO involved.
it just seems like more corporate like bullshit to me. Are we a community? Do we want the best? Do we see each other as brethren? Is this okay? I mean, it doesn't seem like it's a stretch. Does it damage the integrity of the sport? I don't think so. I think the only person that cares, the only person that might be a whiny little bitch about it is sorry, I'm so sorry. This is not your fault. Is Taylor Sykes. She's 120th. Sorry, Taylor. You don't deserve to be dragged into this.
The thing about that argument too, although I completely understand because they're following within the rules, so like, take it for what you will. But Anikha was fitter than them. It wasn't like
and
who
I followed
hit
the
button
rules.
correctly.
Like I didn't break it.
Right.
I followed them. It just something got fucked up. And yes, that's my fault. But I did not I know the rules and I played within them. Like my piece just broke. Like
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, and I also think, and their argument was that like rules are rules, right? Like there's rules for a reason. But I think if you're going to throw the book at someone or at anyone, if you only have rules just to use them to throw them at people, I think there is like case by case, the inability to view cases differently, and take into consideration their differences. Like, I think that might be, I'm totally in favor of the rules. I think we need to have clear, like things need to be laid
You mean
out.
like jumping over the bar? That we need clear rules, like jumping over the bar?
Sure, anything. We need to have set standards and clear rules.
Let me say something. This is to let her in now is less wiggle room than jumping over the bar because we know she turned it in time.
Right. There's a body of evidence.
This bar thing had more wiggle room than what we're asking for Anikha. Like if it was me and Adrian in the room and he's like, hey, dumb fuck, like, you know what I mean by jump over the bar, I'd be like, you're right, I'll stop being an idiot. But when you're talking to 250,000 people or 300,000 people, we already know that this country,
you should just assume that most of them are idiots.
Yeah, this planet, 80% of you guys are morons. So trying to stay on subject here. It's always hard when I'm about to berate my fellow man, but this is no wiggle room at all. This is just a technological minuscule error. It'd be so easy to fix. By the way, Anikha, I have a big favor to ask of you. My boys are watching. Ari, Avi, and Joseph. Could you say hi to them?
Hi, Ari and Joseph. Wait, what was the second one's name?
Avi.
I was like, oh crap, what was the second one's name?
The boys are saying that this is from my wife. The boys are saying Anikha is a hot chick. They're good. They're good boys. Ari's 5. Ari,
how old are they?
Ari said to the TV, "What's up, hot chick?" Ari said, "Shoot, I'm too young for her to marry me." And then Joseph said, "Oh, my other 5-year-old's awesome at math." Joseph said, "When she's 25, I'll be 12."
They're 5. This is outrageous.
They got mad game. They got mad game.
Wow, I don't know if I want to know him when he's 12.
Okay. And then Avi said he'll be 14. Don't worry, guys. There's so many. By then there's going to be a million CrossFit girls for you to talk to. Okay. My goodness.
What's up, boys?
Do you have an opinion, Brian, that you want to weigh in on what you think here CrossFit Inc. should do by any chance?
If you were in charge, Brian.
Yeah, if you were
well, I mean, the unfortunate reality is I don't have all the information at my disposal that they have to make this decision. I would assume, I think that it would probably be a committee that would meet and talk about this. Like, that's how I would set it up. So
like the DEI council, and she'd be too white. They'd be like, no, she's too white.
No, just
sorry,
to have
I'm just not
to
in
have
the
some
committee.
different.
Sorry.
No, you just think one guy should make the decision?
No, I agree.
If I was the guy who was in charge of making a decision, I would have a team of people that I trust. I would say, look, this is the evidence before us. What do you guys think about it? I would consider all their opinions, and I would either have something set up in place before where there's 5 of us, we're going to make a vote and it's going to go either way, or I'll consider everything that you said and then I'll make the decision because that's my responsibility in this role. And then just stick to it. Like I said earlier, I would have been okay with CrossFit, and specifically in the case of Anikha, I would have been okay with them either way that they went here, because I do think they were very clear in their communication, and I don't think there was any gray area in what they put out there. So if they want to hold the line firm, they can hold the line firm. I also think that Anikha has a very compelling and obvious case that she did everything that she was supposed to do. She obviously did the workout ahead of time with a bunch of other high-level athletes. She clearly is physically fit enough and should be at the semifinals, will probably be relevant into the games conversation. And I would, I'm always a proponent of having the best people at every stage of competition that we can have. That's why I ask these questions, and I'm critical of the programming, the workouts, the whole season, etc. It's not because I want to be mad at anyone. I want to get the best people to the next stage. I think Anikha deserves to be there. And if they had decided to take her case and make that decision as an exception to their own rule, I would have been okay with that too in this case.
Yeah, and I think one of our biggest arguments was that we're not even asking for an exception. We're asking for a glitch to be fixed. That was one of our biggest arguments, is that it's not an exception. Would be if I emailed them and I said, hey guys, something really like fucked up happened in my life and I can't do the workout in the time you gave me. Like, that's an exception. I played by the rules. There's just something that, like, there was just a glitch. There was something that got missed. And yes, it is my fault that I didn't catch it first. But that's why I think my case is so different, is because it's like there's no exception. It's just like, it's so easy to fix. Like, I did follow the rules, and you could have every single person at Underdogs vouch for me and email in and say, I watched her put this score in. Yes, we all acknowledge that she should have double checked before 12, but it's like, it's also my job to compete, and I was done competing. And it's my job to, like, and I felt like I handled that weekend mentally so well. And I was so proud of myself, because I used to be really soft and I would have let all of these external things affect how I competed. And so I was just like done, right? And whether I checked out too early, whatever it may be, like, that sucks. But it's just, to us, it seems so simple to fix, to have like my entire season. And I mean, you also have to, none of these things are good arguments if you're trying to be objective, but looking at my past 4 or 5 years now, like, I have been so close and had my heart broken so many times. It was just kind of like unfathomable for us to like watch this unfold again over probably the stupidest thing yet. So that was just kind of where we were at, was just like, this is so easy to fix. And we're just watching door after door get shut in my face over something like so small.
Is it done? Is it 100%?
I mean, we've tried everything. Our last hope was to get Brent from the PFAA to talk to Justin. But Justin won't talk to him until Friday, and the leaderboard's finalized by then.
Speaking of councils,
well, first of all, it's not necessarily finalized by then. They've been known to push deadlines back before. And I do think that the topic of the PFFA is a good one to bring up here, because my understanding would be this is the exact type of situation that you would want to have an athletes committee for, and you would want to have a working understanding of what the role is, and and for both CrossFit and the PFAA in terms of addressing, handling, and coming to a decision about situations like this. Someone mentioned in the comments earlier, what if the athletes just said, this is ridiculous and you need to let her in, and none of us are competing unless you do that. That's not. Yeah, I know they tried to do that with the games that one year, but really that's why you have an athlete committee, is so that athletes don't have to make that decision on their own. And there's someone, the athletes that are on that committee are representatives for the entire community of CrossFit athletes, and they have the responsibility to have those interactions in a predetermined way so that situations like this can be resolved responsibly and not necessarily so publicly, because I don't think it really needs to. But I'm not sure that protocol is there yet.
I bet you if you had a penis, you could compete.
Oh my God. I think the best thing
in the women's class, no one would be saying shit to you.
I think the best thing to think about here is, you're right. It's not an exception. You're not asking for an exception. There was just some sort of glitch that happened.
Dude.
You have a mountain of evidence that supports everything that you're saying all the way across, with a jury full of people that would vouch for you in every which way. And so I think that they should be looking at this as what it is, which is some sort of glitch that happened there. And it's not like you're asking for some sort of favor.
Yeah.
It's Coca-Cola. I feel like we're dealing with Coca-Cola. Like, this is CrossFit. This is like,
She's
this is supposed to be
there.
This is supposed to be the community that has lifeboats and life rafts all around the world to help people and save people from dying of chronic disease. And there's supposed to be a party every year where we crown the fittest human being and we come together and celebrate. It's kind of a double-edged sword. The athletes created this fucking mess, but we don't have to go that way. We can still be a community that supports our own, that just does the right thing for the right reasons for the right people. And someone in the comments, I can't remember, said no one would be talking about 121 if there hadn't been that technological glitch. She knows it's her fault, people. That's not the point here. It's like, what's the right thing to do? If you were 121 and you knew she beat you, would you want to go? I wouldn't.
Yeah. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, can you go on a team now?
No, that was one of my first.
Well, here's the other thing. Part of the other problem is that
why can't you go on a team now? Sorry.
You left Brian. What was Brian saying?
No, one of the other things I was going to say is for those athletes that are close to the cut line, they don't actually know what's going to happen to them either, because the rule book isn't clear. It doesn't say if backfill spots become available that will invite backfills. It just, as with most things in the rule book, leaves it open to CrossFit's, sole discretion is usually the terminology that they use. So those athletes are like really nervous already. They don't necessarily know what's going to happen. There's no promise of backfills to semifinals. Now, it makes sense. I would assume that they would do it.
Yeah. I've been 21st. Like when I was a teenager, I have flipped between 20th and 21st 9 times in 15 minutes, sitting in my 9th grade math class. Like I know what it feels like to be on that edge. And you're not sitting there going, whoo, like I did it. Like you're sitting there going, I'm definitely going to fall out. And in addition to that, I already know 4 girls who are going to go team. There's definitely going to be some people who decline. 121 is probably going to be fine if we're really concerned about how they're feeling, that kind of thing. But yeah.
Is there anything that you'd like to say before we get off? And thank you for sharing your story. I didn't think it was going to get me wound up. I was like, oh, this should be fun to hear. But man, it's now that I just see you, I mean, obviously it makes it more touch home more. Like,
yeah, emotionally involved now.
Yeah, I think they should just let you in. I think it's cut and clear to me.
Look how soft Sevan gets when his boys have a crush on someone.
sick as boys on CrossFit. They'll convince.
They punch hard.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not an angry person. And so I remember somebody texted me before they got on and they were like, don't say anything you regret because you're angry. And I'm like, I'm not angry. I'm not an angry person at all. If I'm going to get angry, I'm going to get mad at myself before I get mad at anybody else. I'm disappointed and I'm hurt and I'm like heartbroken, obviously. But I also have been through this so many times that I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. We're already thinking about like CanWest games and other comps I can do so that I'm not disappearing. I'm not just going to fade into the background. And I'm not like a religious person, but I'm like, maybe the universe is preventing me from being mediocre. So maybe, you know what? I know I'm like fully confident in the fact I would have gone to the games this year. But I think I would have been like top 30, top 20, maybe at best. So you know what? Maybe the universe is keeping me from going to the games until I can podium. So like, that's like, if I'm going to call my shot, I'm going to go next year and I'm going to like fuck some shit up. So I think that's kind of how I have to look at it. And I'm not going to be angry at CrossFit. They've given me a life that like I could only have ever dreamed of. So like, I'm not going to be angry. I'm sad, but I mean, ultimately I didn't double check.
What do you think about this, Brian? That she's losing out on the experience, that the 3 things you need to win the CrossFit Games are the skills, the engine, and the experience. And now she's losing a year of experience. I think it's a big deal.
I said this to someone earlier about this. I said, well, the good news is that she's 18. She's not 28.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you agree? So you agree with me, but you still agree with me.
Yeah, and this is an experience. It's not the experience that she wants, but it's an experience.
You're wise.
And I've been super impressed with you, Anikha, and keeping in mind that you are only 18 years old and remembering what I was like at 18 years old. I don't think I would have been this level-headed about a situation like this.
You were in rehab. Okay. While we have you here, let's switch gears a little bit. Did Danielle mad dog you when you showed up to Underdogs Athletics?
No, Danielle was the one who picked me up from the damn airport.
Okay, so she was just starting rumors when she came on the podcast. said
I
that-
mean, there was definitely some moments. Like, she is a very competitive person, and we compete differently. So there was definitely some moments where Justin and Coop had to be like, "Girl, stop."
like you were rah-rahing her, and she didn't want to be rah-rahed.
No, I didn't. Oh, I knew better than that. I knew better.
Okay.
I knew better than to not cheer on. But just even like I was standing in front of her eyesight during the ring muscle up workout, and she was going before me, and like she like screamed at me. I was like, I felt bad for being in her line of sight, just like that, small things like that. But like when she's trying to beat me, like obviously that's gonna piss her off 20 times more than if it's just some rando. And I mean, and I like after the fact, she obviously we talked about it, and if you look at my Instagram where those posts of me smiling like during that workout, that was about 5 minutes after that. So it was like there was definitely our moments, but like I am never going to ask her to change who she is because that's part of why she's such a good competitor. And like we recognize that in each other, and I'm never going to stop being like a positive, like uplifting, like, you know what I mean? So it's we both recognize we're not going to change, and I think we're at a good place now. But at the start, there were some moments.
Awesome, I love it. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for telling your story. We look forward to seeing you compete. I hope that there is a swift change, and if not, we'll be rooting for you at the next competition.
Thank you for having me on.
You have a great mindset and a really good attitude. I admire
Yeah,
that.
you do absolutely.
It's gonna make one hell of a story when you stand on that podium at the games.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the new plan.
Sousa, thank you. Brian, thank you. People listening, those of you who like me, thank you. Those of you who don't,